Nosipho Gxumisa has just joined Barloworld. She's fresh out of GIBS and she's a specialist on enterprise development. She's going to be bringing her skills to the Barloworld business as well. You've been doing this for a long time. You've been focusing on enterprise development. Is your sense of enterprise development that a lot of companies, quite frankly, probably don't get it?
I think that's largely true. I think most companies seem to think that they confuse enterprise development with preferential procurement. Enterprise development is not exactly preferential procurement, but it is preferential procurement is part of making enterprise development work.
Okay, then explain to me, then take me back that one step, because immediately to my mind, as a big corporate, a good way to ensure enterprise development is to do preferential procurement. That would be my solution. I've got the same understanding as the vast majority of corporates. What's the difference?
Well, the difference is with preferential procurement, as you know, there are codes of good practice. With preferential procurement, you can give procurement or business to an organization that abides by those codes and that measures up in terms of the weighting that is allocated. However, those codes do not say that you must give it, especially with preferential procurement, it doesn't say give it to a black-owned business. As long as you measure up in terms of other things within the good codes of business, then you can be awarded the business. I mean, there are businesses that are in their level 3 in the score, but they are not black-owned or black-controlled. So there's the difference. With enterprise development, it's bringing entrepreneurs from previously underutilized or marginalized businesses, bringing them into the mainstream so that they can get the opportunities that other big businesses have been getting in the past. It
almost suggests that corporate South Africa doesn't yet fully understand the codes or the BE codes, doesn't fully understand the allocations, it doesn't fully understand that there's a list of 10 possibilities of boxes you can tick, and just because you don't tick the ownership box, it doesn't actually matter that much.
Well, some of the business seem to, and I think this was the difficulty, especially with the BEE, which was then moved to triple BEE, to say that ownership, when you move from BEE to triple BEE, not that ownership doesn't matter, it does matter. However, there are other things that have been added to the basket to push up the basket so that you qualify for certain things. And I think, especially in procurement, in order for us to bring the marginalized people in, we have to start saying, first and foremost, how is the ownership of that business? Is it composed of people and not fronting?
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
Fronting, even in the 21st century, or into the second decade of the 21st century, remains a big issue.
It does, it does. But I do think that corporates themselves have some allocation of blame that they need to take.
Happily turn a blind eye.
Yes. They do. But there are things that you can do to ensure that there isn't fronting. I mean, you can do audits to some of these businesses. You can go and visit the businesses. You can see. I mean, it's very easy to pick up fronting. You bring your partner into a meeting and all he says is, hello, I'm so-and-so. And then he says nothing up until, goodbye, nice meeting you.
Maybe he's the quiet, strong, silent type. Potentially. No, but anyway, I jest, obviously. But there are also a lot of corporates are intimidated, quite frankly, by enterprise development. It seems like a big hurdle that has to be crossed. There are crutches, there are help mechanisms in the South African environment, aren't there?
True, there are. And I think most businesses seem to think that you have to have enterprise development within the business in order to succeed in it. But there are businesses, as you correctly say, out there that can assist big businesses or even small businesses in getting to the pool of black suppliers that are out there. Some of them are already developed, some of them need development, and they can guide you through this. I know one organization, the South African Supplier Diversity Council, which is an offshoot of SABO, and it is funded by USAID. And they've got founding partners like GIBS, APSA, and a whole lot of others. And if you go on their website, they will tell you what work they do. They will introduce you as an organization to credible and competent black businesses out there. They will also tell you how to set up a supplier diversity program in your organization. So there is help out there that's available for companies.
And ultimately, company accountants, chartered accountants, want to ensure that the supply chain is reliable. They want to ensure that the pricing they're getting is competitive, and they want to ensure that they're not bolstering a business that doesn't deserve to be bolstered simply because it ticks all the right BE boxes.
Exactly. And I think when you start looking at enterprise development and supplier diversity doesn't mean that you are giving businesses to people just because you feel pity and you want to comply. Supplier diversity, by virtue of the word diversity, just means that you're giving everybody a level playing field, so that they can compete equally for business. But what has happened is that big business deals with people that they've always known. So if I've always known Joe Blocks down the road, why am I dealing with Nosipho, whom I don't know? But the reality is, if you do not upskill Nosipho and give Nosipho the same opportunities that you gave Joe Blocks many years ago, when Joe Blocks was in the same position that Nosipho is in now, then the country is not going to get anywhere, because Nosipho is left down there and she's not getting any economic or financial emancipation.
If Joe Bloggs is a great supplier,
yes,
why should I prejudice him?
Because Nosipho is just as good a supplier, and if you do your audits, you will find that Nosipho is just as good. And if you give 60% of your business to Joe Bloggs and 40% to Nosipho, and allow Nosipho to grow slowly, and while sharing the procurement basket between the two suppliers, then eventually you will realize that actually the two are good. So you can either, as a supplier, as a company, decide to keep both of them, or you can let Joe Bloggs go and keep one, depending, because this is, I think, the problem that most companies face, is they're trying to have fewer suppliers, but now with diversity, it's bringing in more suppliers into the mainstream. So what do? I'm trying to rationalize my supplier base so that I can negotiate better prices with my suppliers. And here comes Nosipho. Nosipho says, I'm supposed to bring in more suppliers from the marginalized group. So that's a challenge for me as an organization. But as I've demonstrated, that's a challenge that can be handled, because if you've got two suppliers and you split them, you're raising the other one, and there are other offshoots and other benefits that come out, indirect benefits that come out of that for you as an organization, besides the bottom line.
Nosipho Gxumisa, thanks very much. She is going to be joining Barloworld. She has joined Barloworld recently. These are the conversations she's going to be having with them.